Good day, gentlemen. I'd love to say I missed you guys, but
What happened to Nick Paul?
ankle.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Is there an update how long you'll be out?
No, but I mean, we're not talking about something really bad, but he won't be on the ice this week for sure.
Just another little bit of adversity that the team seems to be plowing through here?
All I know is I'm getting ready for a lot. So it's going to be coming left and right, and that's just the way it is. That's what the NHL is. So I think we've proven last year that we're able to manage that all year. And so we plan to manage it again this year, whatever it's going to be.
How would this year's camp for you differ from last year's? Last year being your first to this one now?
The main thing is I know our players. Last year I knew of them. I knew by what I watched on video, but I didn't know them personally, and I didn't really know what they could do in terms of what I wanted for the team and our identity. And now I know that. So what's happening is I'm not looking at our guys right now. I'm able to just focus on the other guys so that we can fill our roster with the best players possible. So it's easier for me to target some guys and watch, because last year I had to watch everybody, and to be honest with you, I was watching our guys more than the other guys. That's one, and two, because of our staff too. You know, I think our staff has grown to a level where, you know, I can delegate much more easily, because I know they know what I want, I know what they do, and it's just like, take care of this, take care of that. So I'm able to focus more on specific things going into this camp.
And then saying that you have time to know your players, slotting guys. You got Colin White, where he was today and where Shabbat was today. How much should we read into the first day of camp?
I'd love to tell you you should not read into it, or the opposite, but the reality is, I think, you know, coming in, we've seen some of those guys. So I've seen Colin, I've seen Shabbat last year. We had him for a while. So, you know, you're able to know what they're capable of doing, and you want to send them out there with some guys to see what it's going to look like. But it doesn't mean that we're not open to, you know, what's happening with the other players. But just like last year with Zingo, I didn't give Zingo any special treatment, and he just made his way through, and there you go. And, you know, I look at today, you know, I look like Schlappick today. He was really good last weekend, and I look at him today, and it just kind of coming out of not nowhere, because you know he's a good player. He did great in junior, but if you look at what he did last year compared to this year's, it's a new player. And today, hey, he just really impressed me. So whether we put guys in slots, we really won't know until a while, you know, who can sustain. The first few days, everybody's going all our, you know, adrenaline, and they're coming out charging. But as we move along here and we get exhibition games, we'll be able to see which guys can sustain either effort or be able to play at the speed of execution you need to be an NHLer. And so that's why it's just one day today. But there's always in camps guys who come out and they're just telling you by their actions, hey, I want to make this team. I don't care how old I am. I don't care where I am from. I don't care what the media say about who has the most chances. I'm coming here, and that's what Zinger did last year. And it's going to happen probably again this year. There's always that one guy at every level that just makes his way through, usually out of character and so on. So I didn't say that this kid was going to. I'm just giving you an example that a day like today, hey, there's a kid that just showed me that he wants it, and that's what I'm looking for.
How does your practice plan this year look compared to your notes from last year? Because, you know, you were straight up with all of us, with everybody last year, saying on day one it's going to be 4 or 6, I forget what it was, 4 or 6 weeks or whatever it's going to be, for people to get what we're doing and changing the culture. There's still obviously teaching in every camp, but you don't have to teach structure and culture this year. So how does your practice plan each day differ?
No, I think it's a very good question, and the way to answer that is we need to teach structure again, and we did today. And we had the same meetings in both rooms that we did last year, but it wasn't me giving it. It's my two assistants, because they saw me go last year. We spent the entire year together, so they know exactly how we. So our philosophy coming in this year is very simple. It's 80-20. We're going to be doing 80% of what we did last year because we were successful with it. And 20% is going to be for how we evolve, what we need to improve, and whether it's offensively or defensively. And that's based on what we saw with our guys, but it's also based on all the what we've done during the summer to study the top teams in the league at every aspect of the game. We did that last year coming in, and now knowing our guys and comparing with what we've done well and not so well, and the progression of things through the year, now we know we're specifically focusing some things to evolve, tweak, change, add, take out by increments. But really, the camp right now, it's focusing on let's get that 80% back as quick as we can. And you know, last year I knew it was going to take a month and a half, if not more, just to really start being consistent in what we're supposed to look like. And that's exactly what happened last year. Now, we start back at zero. And that was the message yesterday to the players. We're not where we were last year at the end of the year. That's the end of a long process, and that's the mistake that you make, the mindset. That's why teams come back usually when there's four. The last four teams of playoffs usually have trouble starting the year well. And people will say, well, it's because it was so tough, it was emotionally draining, physically draining, and by the end, and you have a shorter summer, and then your training is off, and that might be a part of it. But there's a huge part of it that is a mindset, because you start thinking that you are where you were at the end of the year, but that takes a whole year to get there. And when you start again, you're really starting back at zero. The only difference is that it should take a little faster to get to have a consistency in what you're doing than the previous year, but you're back at the beginning. And I think we understand that as a staff, and the players, I think, understand that, and they work really hard today. We need to be extremely hungry, because teams have improved in our division, and everybody wants to do what we did last year, and we want to do more, but we don't look at last year as something we need to reproduce. It's not about reproducing last year. Last year's last year. We had success, and it's great, but it's back at zero, and it's going to be a totally different year with new players, new circumstances, and we got to build it all from scratch. And the goal is the same as last year. Make playoffs, and then take care of the playoffs after. But it's make playoffs and get better every day. And that approach will never change, because the minute you get away from that, you don't respect process. You're ahead of yourself, you think you're somewhere you're not yet, and you're more disappointed in moments where you're not having success because you think of all the great moments of the year. Oh, that's what we look like. No, that's what we look like in January, in March, and in May, after all the work and the attitude and the dedication and discipline. So we have to be aware of that. So that's our mindset right now, is to reload and start right now, and our players, I think, show me that today.